Now, foreign capital inflows into Rwanda in 2011 increased by over 4% to stand at $357 million in 2011, with profitability from these inflows increasing by 19.5%. All these indicating foreign investor attraction into Rwanda's business environment. To put the figures in perspective is Claire Akamanzi, CEO of the Rwanda Development Board, who are the joint sponsors of the survey. Claire, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us. Just explain to us, these numbers, of course, slightly out of date. We're talking about 2011, 2012 has come and gone. But in terms of what they mean and the country's continuing attraction to investors, just give us some perspective on what you found out of those numbers.
Well, as you've stated in our most recent survey on foreign capital, we've seen an increase. And this increase as is a result of many factors that continue to make Rwanda an attractive investment destination. First of all, Rwanda's business environment has been attractive. Today, Rwanda is the third easiest place to do business in Africa. Rwanda is also the third most competitive place to do for business in Africa. And this is, as determined by the World Bank and the World Economic Forum. Rwanda continues to be very stable in terms of peace and security, and Rwanda is one of the least corrupt countries in the world. And because of this, and also the increased marketing and the opportunities that are there, as well as the stock exchange that we recently put in place, have actually all come together to increase investments in Rwanda. So what we see in the years to come is a building on what these efforts have been, and for more investors to learn more about our destination. And what we see is more growth happening. In fact, our target as a country is to grow our investments 3 times in the next 5 years, and we see that possible because of all these factors that we've put in place.
Yeah, if you could extrapolate those numbers and also the kind of areas that these people were interested in and where they were coming from, and try to give us a sense of what happened in 2012 and going into 2013. What do you see? What are you seeing at the moment?
Okay, well, what we have is up to 2011, because we do a previous year assessment. 2012 results will come later.
Yeah.
But what we see is that from 2020, we had $349 million from foreign sources. And in 2011, we had $356 million. And that's a mixture of equity investments as well as portfolio investments on our market, which picked up only about 2 years ago. And also we have debt, foreign debt coming into the country that brings all these investments forward. If you look at the sectors where a lot of these investments went, the sectors were the financial sector. We had financial services coming into the country, including new banks establishing within Rwanda over the last year in 2011. We also had telecom companies, new telecom companies that came within Rwanda and offering all sorts of services, including data, selling data and bringing soft applications like for mobile money, among others.
Right.
We also had a lot in manufacturing. We are now producing, for example, steel in Rwanda. We have food processing investments from foreign sources that came into the country. And in terms of the countries where we see these investments coming, it's actually quite a mixture.
Yeah.
But you won't believe it that within the continent, we have our top investments actually come from within the continent as well. Kenya, South Africa, and Mauritius are very among the top. But of course, we have European countries like Switzerland, Sweden, Cyprus, among others, where investments are coming from.
Yeah.
So in terms of where we see 2012 and 2013 going, we actually expect growth, even more growth in these investments. I will see that as the time goes.
Yeah.
But we have new investments, for example, in energy that have already come from Turkey, from the U.S., among others. We have a Pretoria Portland company that is in cement, just invested in Rwanda. We'll see that reflected in the 2013 numbers. Because of these new heavy investments we're seeing on the ground this year, especially in energy, in building materials like cement, we expect to see more growth in 2013.
Absolutely.